This episode of FilmRiot is brought to you by Domaincom. Today on FilmRiot, we got all Grindhouse.
Once a simple toy maker. But they underestimated the power of the Christmas spirit.
It's time for payback, Chris. You need to make them hurt.
How? I don't even know who they are.
I've made a list, and they've all been naughty.
Logo. Oh, hey there, welcome. This is my show about movie stuffs. If you don't recognize the clip I just showed, it's from a very FilmRiot Christmas special, which we did about 2 weeks ago, and since then we have had tons of questions on how we did different effects, but the one that I've heard the most is, hey Riot guy, first of all, Merry Christmas, too late on that one, buddy, and a Happy New Year, and to you, friend. Second, I love your Grindhouse Santa sketch and was wondering how you got that 70s Grindhouse look. Doing the Grindhouse sketch was a blast-tasty, so friend, I gotta tell ya, I'm more than happy to bust this little lover right open like a walnut in the hands of a squirrel. Our Grindhouse sketch was shot completely on green screen and blue screen and done with all virtual sets. In fact, the characters were actually never even in the same room as each other in any of the shots, but the request was about how to get the Grindhouse look, which has nothing to do with the green screen being on green screen or green screening or not. It's all color grading and overlays and whatnot to get that vibe. So let's take this ordinary clip like this one.
I'm hungry.
Stupid and boring, I know, I agree. But let's slap some 70s cheese on that. And to do that, the first thing we're gonna do is to take our completed edit into After Effects. So to make that more clear, I will first edit my scene in Adobe Premiere, and then I will either render that out to bring into After Effects, or since I am using Adobe Premiere, I can just use the dynamic link to send the project right to After Effects. Either route you take, you end up in the same place, which is your clip inside of After Effects. Now, first I'm going to show you how I did this, which is by using Magic Bullet looks and some plugins that come with it. After that, I'm going to show you how you can do something similar without the need to pay money dollar bills for plugins, just whatever comes with After Effects. So first, I did an initial color correction on the clip, desaturating the color and upping the contrast a bit. Once that is done, it's time to start adding the Grindhouse spank up on it. First, I applied Magic Bullet looks inside of the looks plugin. The first thing I did was to apply the preset Hot Matty. Now I usually freaking hate using presets. I like doing everything from scratch, but this was the perfect look to use as a starting point. So once applied, all I had to do was tweak the contrast and the color to the preset to fit my image. And now with those two steps alone, we already have the footage getting pretty close to the style that we want. Next, I'm going to go to Effects, then Magic Bullet Misfire. These plugins are what I use to really sell the effect. First, I added basic scratches and turned the number of scratches up to 6. Then I'll add deep scratches and change the color to a super dark gray and the max duration to 12. Next is Dust, then add Funk and turn the opacity to 15, then add Splotches, which I left with the standard setup. Those 5 plugins is what will give you that dirty film look, but we aren't done yet. Now we want to degrade the image a bit more to give it the feeling that the film has been mishandled and it's old. So the first thing we're going to do is add fading and set the amount to 72, and finally we add flicker with the frequency at 50% and the flicker amount at 7. The flicker will add a constant fluctuation to the brightness of the image to really make it feel warm. But now with our new look and some cheesy music and a poorly written and performed voiceover, we have turned that old clip into something far more ridiculous.
He was hungry,
I'm hungry.
but there was nothing to eat. Or was there? Now, he's a serial killer.
Our FilmRiot fans are making Domain.com one of the fastest growing registrars in the world. If you are setting up a website to show off pictures of your cat, brag about your special effects skills, your visual effects skills, or I don't know, your cinematography, or do something more business related, Domain.com is the best place to buy a domain name that is right for your new idea. Domain.com's easy checkout process makes it simple to find your domain name and set up your website without a hassle. Domain.com's domain discovery system quickly shows you available names, making it easy to select the domain extension that's right for you. You can find a suite.com or get a .co to save a character. And if you already have a domain somewhere else, that's fine. You can transfer it to Domain.com for just $7.61 and you get an entire year free. The guys at Domain.com are huge fans of FilmRiot and want to hook up other FilmRiot fans, so use the coupon code FilmRiot and get 15% off your next domain purchase or transfer. For a transfer, that's only $6.47. That's wonderful. So don't forget, when you think domain names, think Domain.com.
Logo.
Now that I showed you how I did it with those plugins, I realize that a lot of you are hoping for a free version of this effect, meaning without the use of plugins that you have to purchase, which you can do, though I found a bit less effective, but nonetheless, let's do it. First thing you want to do is color grade your footage. As you can see here, I went through a lot of steps to end up with the final look I got, but the basic idea is to saturate your image, then flatten out the contrast so you can then add the contrast back in, which gives it that messed up look. Then I use levels and curves to add reds and yellows to the highs and mids, then some blues and greens to the shadows. Once I had the color I was shooting for, I duplicated my layer, then added a Gaussian blur, switched that layer to screen mode, and dropped the opacity to 42%. This will give the footage that foggy, faded look. Next, we will add some blotches to the image, and the way we're going to do this is by adding a new solid, applying fractal noise to it, then changing the contrast to 125 and the brightness to 67, then we keyframe the evolution to increase over time. I set it up so the noise would be moving very fast, like so. Next, I'll add scratches to the image by creating another black solid, then masking it so that it's just a thin line straight down the screen. Now I'll add noise to this to break it up a bit. Then I will pre-comp this layer and then open that pre-comp. Next, I will create several layers of this one line and animate them to move and cut them so that they only last for a short period of time on screen. After doing this for a few layers, you will end up with something like this. Now I'll go back to the main comp and duplicate the scratches pre-comp, move it in time, and now I will have double the scratches I had before. Then I will duplicate again and add an invert plugin so that my black scratches are now white, and then change this layer to add, and then drop the opacity to 6%. Now with that done, we move on again to make yet another black solid layer. This time we will drop the opacity to 10%, change to soft light blending mode, and then alt-click the opacity stopwatch and type the expression wiggle, open bracket, 11, comma, 16, close bracket. This will cause the black layer to flicker, giving your footage that old faded film look we had before. Now the last thing to do is to add your widescreen bars and you're done.
He was hungry.
I'm hungry.
Now I know there's a lot here for this effect, and you can actually accomplish the same thing in a bunch of different ways. This is just how I went about it, but I wanted to give you guys more of a hands-on approach with this one. So if you want, you can download my entire project file here. It is the After Effects project file with all of my effects set up, so all you have to do is drag and drop your footage and bam! Or you can then take that file and reverse engineer it if you want to learn more hands-on. Either way, it's up to you. You have the power. So the power's in your hands. Go here.
Logo.
Okay, my fellow film lovers, we have come to a close. I hope this was helpful to you in your quest of grindhousery. But if you want to chit-chat with me on the interwebs, you can do so on my Twitter right here. Or if you'd rather get all Facebook about it, you can find us here. But I shall see you next time when I plan to kill my wife by blackmailing an old school pal of mine.